So I was digging through my Dreamcast stuff the other day, dropping things. I got a pretty big stack of stuff I burned and a couple discs that are actual legit release discs. And I came across this, my Utopia boot disc. It's version 1.2. I don't think I ever tried 1.1. 1.3 I couldn't get to work. There was some rumored 1.5 I couldn't get to work, and then there's a 2.0. Which I believe I couldn't get that to work. There was a Christmas version released of, I think it was 1.2. And once you boot it, we'll see here in a sec, there's this like reindeer looking dude, and he's got a Christmas hat on, and that's about the only difference from this version. The boot disc versions between them, if they all did work, I'm not sure what the difference is. They all boot discs. I've got all my stuff labeled self boot and boot disc. So I'm going to show you what this does and run through some of the discs. One of the great things about this guy is that it shows the logo on some games. Well, maybe that is the difference. Maybe it's got more games loaded as far as the image. It shows the so you got Crazy Taxi. It'll show something like the logo once you pop the boot disc in. See, that's what pops up when you put the boot disc in. If you bought the CD, you've been cheated. So don't ever buy a boot disc. Yeah, don't ever charge somebody for something you burned and didn't pay for yourself anyway. That's rude. I don't do that, and I wouldn't do that. So we've got this booted up, Utopia boot disc 1.2. I open it up, it stops going. Let's just run through these guys. Well, let's use a legit release disc, Crazy Taxi. It'll start spinning up. Press start. Oh, it just says Dreamcast. Well, hopefully this one, get the loading bar for the numbers. Crazy Taxi. It's the one that I remember had. Yeah, it would load the image of the disc itself. Well, let's see if this one actually does or not. Because if it does not, and the one that I used to have, I mean, this is the one that I used to have. It's already getting disc rust. A little dot. I burned that myself. That's my own handwriting. But I remember the one that I have most of my memory is the one that did something different. Like I said, it would boot up the image of what was printed on the disc from the factory, which means that one of the other versions did work, because if this one doesn't do that, then it was obviously something else. We'll go with Hydro Thunder. Come on, start. And if this one doesn't work like I'm thinking it used to, I will do my best to hunt the other one down, get it burned, and show you guys how that one worked. Oh, come on. Let's turn back if I did. I did do that. We ain't doing a damn thing. Let's do Utopia again. Let's find the legit disc. I got them all stacked like this. No sort of sorting system or anything. They're just old discs from years ago. They're floating around in a baggie. I think I had Tony Hawk around here somewhere. Pretty sure I did. Oh, there. Got Evolution and Soul Calibur. Let's try Soul Calibur. Pop that in. Oh, that sucks. They all just say Dreamcast on them. I think it might have been the Christmas version, because that's the one that I remember using. Is it would show up the disc image. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I've used all self-boot stuff up until now, is I'm going to use one that is not self-boot. It requires a boot disc. So it may take a sec. I gotta hunt through my stuff. Self-boot, self-boot. Blank disc, I'm gonna try that. Self-boot and self-boot. Most of the stuff is self-boot. When they started, I think Echelon was one of the teams that started doing the Dreamcast stuff. Initially, everything you had to use a boot disk for, and then somebody came out with a deal where you could modify the images to boot themselves. This one is the only one I can find BD boot disk. It's Revolt, so I'm gonna pop it in here, power that up, and it shouldn't start up by itself, but we shall see. Nope, nothing. Alright. So this will actually show if the boot disk works. If you don't know, these the Dreamcast discs were all released on GD-ROMs. These guys are 700 megs. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Probably not. 700 megs. There were some discs that were 750s, and you could, if you hunted them down, you could find some 800s. But GD-ROMs, they were a full gig. So you couldn't copy the disc onto a burnable disc because it would just be too much for the disc. You'd have overburn. Just with the table of contents, it would send the laser out past where it couldn't go. So there's all sorts of errors that could happen. So one of the teams, I think it was Echelon, did. They used the broadband adapter and just sucked the image out to a computer, to a desktop, and then they would compress. I don't know if they had to do it with the image files, because the image files weren't very big. But a lot of the audio files, I think a lot of them were waves. So I don't think they could compress them because they still had to use the same file structure and the same directories and everything. I don't know what they did. Maybe they just deleted some waves. I'm not too clear on it. Whatever they did, they either compressed a bunch of the audio or eliminated it. So wherever it would send the laser to look for audio, if you had rather large games that you burned onto a CDR, a lot of the audio was choppy, or it just wouldn't be there. The visuals always worked if the disc booted, but if not, then yeah, if it didn't boot, then it's a bad burn or something, or somebody ripped it wrong. Alright, let's try this guy. It's just a little bit of history, I suppose. Revolt. Let's see if this pops up. I like how the VMU is just kind of hanging out right there. Insert back up. Looks like this one's going to work. I really need to find out where the disc is that I had that booted up with all the images. That's really going to bug me. But yeah, it's the boot disc works. When I post the video, I'll find a link. The ISO zone might have it. I don't know. It's been a long time. If I can't find where the image is hosted currently, because I got this image years and years and years ago, I'll upload it to my GitHub and then just put a link in the description. But hopefully I can find it online. Yeah, it seems to work. One thing I noticed with the Dreamcast that I didn't really have to do with my GameCube, I didn't have to adjust the potentiometer for the laser to be able to read anything. And the Dreamcast really never has issues with burn discs, as far as all of a sudden it just doesn't work. Like you get halfway through a game and it just doesn't work. It seems to either work or it doesn't, which is fantastic for the end user, for us, the consumers, because the GameCube, you would get part of the way through a game, or you'd go do some certain action and the game would just flip out and say it couldn't be read. Dreamcast never, I don't ever remember it doing that. The disc, if you burn one, it either works or it does not work. Now back in the day when CDRs were fairly expensive, that would suck if that happened. But as far as the GameCube, to find the mini CDRs, unless you have a Cube or a GC like executor case, you could use full DVD-Rs. Those you got to use the small ones otherwise. To get like a 10-pack for, I don't know, 20 bucks, and then half of them are coasters, that really sucks. But now for the Dreamcast, you can buy CDRs for dirt cheap. You don't even have to worry about the brand anymore. But the laser, I don't know what it is. The laser, I don't know if the laser is stronger or not in that, or how that would work. But I never had to adjust the potentiometer. And I've had probably 3 or 4 Dreamcasts since '99 when it came out. This is my latest one, and no issues with burning games. Like I said, either they work or they do not. So there's Revolt. Seems to work just fine as long as you have the boot disc. That's proof that the Utopia 1.2 does work, and I'll try to find links to that and the other ones if I can find them. If not, I'm pretty sure I have 1.2 archived on my really old desktop, which is Athlon 64, I believe. So yeah, that's pretty old stuff. So thanks for watching. Play some games.